Hello everybody! Welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions, my podcast about knitting, spinning, and sewing. My name is Tommi, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Dynamite Trujillo. Welcome to episode 27 of my podcast. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it so much. Welcome to any new viewers. Thank you so much for checking out my channel, and a big welcome back to all of our returning viewers. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. Today is another lovely overcast Friday in June on the Northern California coast where I am coming to you from. And we do have a Ravelry group for this podcast. So go check that out on Ravelry under Squirrel Pie Productions. It is where you can find all of the show notes to this episode and all previous episodes. It's also where you'll find threads for giveaways and knit-alongs and other fun stuff that you should totally check out. There are show notes for every episode in that group on Ravelry. But just so you know, if you ever have any questions about anything I ever talk about on the podcast and they're not included in those show notes, feel free to message me. I'm happy to answer any questions about anything that I may have missed. We are going to be having a giveaway in the Ravelry thread. Speaking of returning viewers, we have hit 1,000 subscribers on the Squirrel Pie Productions YouTube channel, and I'm just so excited and appreciative and blown away and humbled, and I want to say thank you because it's pretty awesome. I feel pretty lucky to have all of you guys as my friends now and to be able to hang out with you every week through this YouTube channel. I love podcasts so much. I've been a long time obsessive fan of so many knitting podcasts for so long, and I'm so appreciative to be a part of the community of podcasters, to be able to put out episodes and be a little more involved. I love it. It's been so much fun. And thank you to anybody who subscribes. And I am going to do a giveaway to commemorate 1,000 subscribers. It's going to be a giveaway held in the Squirrel Pie Productions Ravelry group. There will be a thread that will be open as soon as this goes live. And I'm going to ask a question in that thread. You will answer the question. If you wouldn't mind being a subscriber to enter, that would be lovely. And I'm going to give away a skein of Moonstone Dyeworks yarns that I'm going to show you right now. And also a bunch of other goodies that I'm not going to show you right now because I don't have them yet. But what I'm going to do is go gather up a bunch of yummy local goods to send with this prize package. As I've mentioned many times, I live in Humboldt County in Northern California. And I love my community. We produce a lot of local goods, including a lot of food items, a lot of drinks, a lot of everything. So I'm going to go gather up a bunch of fun local things, including tea and chocolate and whatever else I can find. And I'm going to put together a really good care package to whoever wins. So this is going to be part of it. This is the only thing I have so far. But I'm going to include this skein on my Stellina sock base of my colorway High and Low. So this is a fingering weight yarn with Stellina and nylon and superwash merino. And it's my newest colorway that I love. Super in love with this colorway. So I'll have this and a bunch of other goodies. Thank you again for subscribing. I appreciate it more than you can know. And go check out the Ravelry group, find the thread for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, answer the prompt in that thread. It's going to be another fun, random question that I might make my husband think of. And enter to win. I will leave that thread open until I record next time, and then I will randomly draw a winner and send a beautiful prize package off to you, whoever wins. So thank you again for subscribing, for being here, for spending some time with me every week. I love it and I appreciate it, and yeah, thanks. So moving on to knit-along news. We have a knit-along that is currently happening. It is the Brioche Knit Along, and it's hashtag BriocheAlong2017 on Instagram. It has been so much fun. Oh my god, you guys are knitting such amazing things. So this is a knit along where I want you to knit brioche. It doesn't matter when you started your project. It doesn't matter how much brioche there's in it or how big or little it is. I just want you knitting some brioche. It's going to be running through the beginning of August. There's a chatter thread in the Ravelry group and a finished objects thread, and I will be drawing for prizes for that after the knit along is over. It's been so much fun. I've been knitting. I think I'm kind of becoming a brioche master or something. I don't know. I'm like knitting constantly on brioche projects, and it is so much fun. It's like the movements to me have become second nature, almost like knitting itself. I love it. And you guys are knitting beautiful things as well. Go check out the chatter thread and the hashtag on Instagram, and share what you're doing, see what everybody else is doing. It's been so much fun. Thank you so much for participating. If you have been participating, if you are scared to jump into brioche, don't be. It's so much fun, and you can start with the tiniest projects. I have a list of project recommendations in the chatter thread, links to a bunch of patterns that I like on Ravelry, and you can knit anything. I mean, there's a ton of brioche projects on Ravelry. A really lovely and kind viewer recently sent me a message on Ravelry and donated to me her new brioche pattern, which is called the Brioche Headkerchief, right? The Brioche Hairkerchief. It's the Brioche Hairkerchief, and it's by Haley Overseth. So thank you so much, Haley, for donating that pattern to me. It is really awesome. I really want to knit it. I've added a link to her pattern in the Ravelry Brioche Along in the Brioche Along chatter thread. So check that out. Check out that pattern. I'm going to put a picture of it here so that you know what it looks like. It's really nice and really small, so it'd be a super quick knit. If you want to participate but you don't know what to make, you don't want to make a big shawl or something, check it out. I think it would be really, really fun to knit. So thank you so much, and check out the Brioche Along. Join it if you haven't. I think you should, because it's fun. Good stuff. Okay. Today I'm drinking some cold brew iced coffee. Super not my norm. I'm a huge lover of hot black coffee. And I recently saw on Casey Mara's Creative Musings podcast that she was drinking cold brew coffee. And she just did a little mention on how great cold brew coffee is and how easy it is to make yourself, and that she loves it. So I wanted to try it, so I did, and oh my god, Casey, you're so right. It is so good. And it's super easy to make. Like, if I used a French press, but you don't have to have a French press. You grind coffee, mix it with cold water, and let it sit for like 12 hours. And that's it. I'm going to link in the show notes to the article that I read on Serious Eats, which is a food website that I really like. Those are kind of the instructions I followed. It's really good. I super like it. I kept it really strong. It makes like a concentrated coffee, like super concentrated, and then you're supposed to dilute it when you drink it. And I kept it pretty strong in here. I added some milk and ice. Oh, it's so good. Oh my god, it's so good. Okay. So what I'm wearing is my combined FO segment. I am wearing my Shawl cardigan, which is my recent finished object. It's a cardigan by Andy Satterland, whose designs I love and adore. It is out of Green Mountain Spinnery, New Mexico organic wool. It's 100% non-superwash Rambouillet wool, and it is a woolen spun 2-ply sport DK weight. I think it acted more like a DK weight to me. So it's done. It's got buttons. I love it so much. You guys, I love it so much. I love this sweater so much. I want to make more. So I'm going to stand up and show you. I'm wearing it with my Agnes dress that I made. So there it is. It's got this beautiful lace detailing right here, which is just so freaking like, what do you call it? Vintagey fantastic. Isn't it pretty? Oh my god, I love it. So there's the front. It's got these amazing sleeve caps that I just freaking love. There's the back. There you go. That's it. I have like nothing but good things to say about this sweater pattern. I love it so much. Seriously. Andy Satterlund designs amazing sweaters. And I love this kind of cropped fitted cardigan for over dresses and skirts and things like that. It's just so cool. And I've got my buttons attached. So I went to my local fabric store and I got these, I think they're plastic, kind of frosted mauvey purple buttons. And last episode, I told you guys that I do not know how to put on buttons, and a bunch of you messaged me, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you. And it was a hands down consensus that the way to do it is with embroidery floss. I am so happy you guys told me that. Thank you so much. So that's what I used. I used black embroidery floss, and I used a tutorial for the technique that I will link to in the show notes, and it was really good. You guys, I've been sewing buttons on wrong this whole time. I'm like, I was sewing buttons on using the yarn, and I don't know why I thought I had to do that, but it's like apparently not the thing to do, because this works way better. And there's like a whole method, and they're just like, they're super secure, and I love it. I love it. Check out that tutorial if you're interested in learning how to do it. It was really, really good. And it was super easy. So, like I said, I've got the black embroidery floss, and that's what it looks like on the back. Now, it does do this thing where it kind of puckers between each button, and that's fine with me. I'm pretty okay with that, and I kind of expected it to do that because in the pattern picture of the model wearing it, it does that as well, and it really doesn't bother me that much. But after I sewed on my buttons, I got a message in the Ravelry group for the last episode from Nina of the This Old Knit podcast, and she suggested using grosgrain ribbon underneath the buttons themselves on that side of the button band. I think that would help this issue a little bit, and I really, really want to do that. I didn't see that message until after I'd already sewn on the buttons, so I'm kind of tempted to take them off and do the grosgrain ribbon thing and then put them back on. So, I don't know. We'll see. That's a method that I've always in the back of my head known about, mostly because of the Knitmore girls. They talk about it on their podcast, that's like the way to do it. But I forgot about it. Totally forgot about it. So thank you, Nina, for bringing that up. I think that's a really good idea. And I might, if I'm not lazy, which I'm like super lazy, but if I can get over my laziness, I might undo the buttons. I have to go buy ribbon because I don't have any grosgrain ribbon. Find some grosgrain ribbon and reattach them because I think that's a really good idea. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm super happy with how it is right now. This was a top-down cardigan. Her construction style, Andy Satterlund's construction style for her cardigans that I've knit so far are super interesting. And they work really well, and I really, really love them. It's got sleeve caps, which are, I can't remember what they're called. I think they're set-in sleeves, but they're made using short rows, and they're my favorite sleeve style ever. I love them. And it was super, super fun to knit. I knit the smallest size, and I used a size, I forget what needle size I used, so I'm not going to tell you. But it's probably in the project page. I'm really bad at keeping up my project pages, especially since I started the podcast. I've like really gone downhill on it. But I'm going to try to update this project page to have that information in it. But I used the needle size called for in the pattern. I did go down a needle size for the cuffs and the waistband, which is just something I generally do anyway. I did a tubular bind off for both of those things, which is a bind off that I love and I use whenever I can. And for the bind off for the button band, I just did the standard first bind off that you ever learn, where you knit one, knit another one, passed the last one over, and I did that the whole way. And I love it. I love it. I started off with 4 skeins of this Mountain New Mexico organic yarn, and I only used 3. I think that's right. Is that right? I think that's right. Whatever it is, I have a whole skein left over. Here, actually, I got a lot of yarn left over. This is how much I have left over. So I've got a whole skein that I never even broke into. That's the back. That's what the tag looks like. And it's such beautiful yarn, you guys. I love it so much. And then I have a whole nother full cake, almost. So I'm going to have to figure out something good to do with this. I don't know what yet, but this is kind of a lot of yardage. It's 2 ounces per skein. So this is 180 yards. This is probably another 140, maybe. I don't know. So we'll see. Yeah, that's my FO. I love it. I cannot wait to wear it all over the place. On to what's on my needles. I have been working on a few projects that I'm super in love with. The first one is living in my adorable Sugar Tots project bag. These are my Countess Socks. This is a sock pattern by my friend Becky Sorensen of the Stringing It Together podcast, and I have finished my first sock. So I have a hoe for you guys. That is what she looks like. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it so much. And I did do her New Depths heel, which is the heel that she wrote specifically for this pattern. It is available as a separate download, though. So if you want to purchase the heel and not the Countess Socks, you can do that. But if you purchase the Countess Socks, you get the heel pattern. So again, this is called the New Depths heel. It's a short row heel with a gusset, which is super cool. I've never done that before. I've never been a fan of a short row heel because they are too shallow for me. But they are super fun and easy to do, so this was really nice. I've tried it on. It fits really well. It's super roomy in there. It is really deep. I love it. So that's what that heel looks like. It is a top-down sock. I did the 56 stitch count size because that is the size I like my socks. I did the German twisted cast on that she calls for, and I loved it. I'm a convert. 1x1, regular rib. I did this pattern repeat. This is one pattern repeat. This is the second pattern repeat. And then I did another, I started the third pattern repeat here, and I got one full little triangle thing done. And then I started my toe. The toe that she calls for is, I think, a standard wedge toe, but I did my favorite rounded toe with the Kitchener finish. And it fits great. Super great. I love it. This yarn is Space Cadet Yarns in the Azara base, which is her BFL nylon base, and it's the gentle colorway. It's super pale pink. So these are the Countess Socks, Becky Sorensen's new sock pattern. I love them a lot. I've started my second one. It looks like this so far. It's a wee little cuff. I knit my socks on a size 0 for the cuff, and then I switch to a size 1 for the rest of the sock after I'm done with the cuff. So that's what I'm doing now. This is my Carbons size 0 magic loop needle. Here's my one. It's a high sharp. I love high sharps. And here's my yarn. Yep. And here's the tag for Space Cadet Yarns. I highly recommend trying their yarns. They are really beautiful. Super in love with this project. This is my sock for the week. Love it. My next project is my Oracle shawl. This is my Ghastly's project bag. I love it a lot. My unicorn lives on here. And the Oracle shawl is a test knit that I'm doing for Kristen of the Yarngasm podcast and Woolen Vine Yarns. She designed a pie shawl with lace and brioche. It is gorgeous. I'm super lucky that I'm test knitting it because it's freaking awesome. So, I've got a picture somewhere up here of what it looks like. And this is where I'm at. It's a pie shawl. So, as you may know from the last pie shawl I knit, as you knit a pie shawl, it looks like a crazy bag as a whip. So, that's what it looks like right now. But, this is a 3 skein pie shawl. And I am using 3 colorways of Woolen Vine yarns to knit this thing. The middle color is Fig Bash. This pink, this lace section here is Prickly Pear. And then this is a minty green. That is my main brioche color. And that is Last Unicorn, which just got released to the public. It's such a beautiful colorway. I read in the Woolen Vine email thing that I get that a bunch of it got dyed for her update tomorrow. So get some. I have been dying to use this colorway ever since it first came out at Stitches West last year, which I did not get to go to. It's so great. So let me show you the cakes. This is Fig Bash. These are all on her Nouveau base. Fig Bash is a colorway that I have honestly never been interested in. And then I got it and it blew me away. It's seriously an amazing color. I had no idea I was going to love it so much, but I do. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. This is the Elusive Last Unicorn. Prettiest colorway ever, seriously. And Prickly Pear. Oh yeah, look at that. Isn't that magical? Ah! Okay. So, these 3 colorways are beautiful and they are so fun to work with together. So back to the shawl. We have got this starting point here, which is a little stockinette and increase section with a really beautiful little cast on point in the middle. Super smart the way she does that. And something I really, really like about this shawl so far, if you can see how the brioche starts, it kind of emerges out of those yarn over eyelets. It is beautiful. I love that. It's such a nice detail. I think it's gorgeous. This lace section here is super intuitive, super easy, super gorgeous in this hot pink. Oh my god. And then the brioche. You guys know how much I love brioche. This is my favorite part. So fun. And I just finished it. I just got to the last brioche row last night, so the next up is another lace section. And you guys, what I loved about this brioche section is that it is just plain ass brioche in the round. So fun. There's no increases, there's no decreases, there's no sliding because it's all done in the round. You're not doing it in rows, so you're not sliding stitches back and forth. It's just non-stop, round and round, 2-color brioche, so mindless. Seriously, this is my favorite brioche I've ever done because it's the simplest brioche that there is, and I love it. Loved it. So much fun, and that detail where the brioche itself emerges out of the eyelets and the lace happens here too. It's such a nice detail. I love it so much. And I've got my Tilting Planet Progress Keeper on here with the little star glitters in it, which I love. So, like I said, this is a test knit. The pattern is not out yet. I believe it is scheduled to be released in the beginning of August, and I am so excited for you guys for it to get released because you should knit it. You are seriously going to want to knit this. I'm not even kidding. It's so much fun. It's lace and brioche, which might be like intermediate skills, but it's really simple and intuitive yet engaging lace. And the brioche is just, like I said, it's just, there's nothing complicated about it. It's just brioching, and that's it. It's so fun. So, seriously, you guys are going to want to make this. I'm having so much fun knitting on it. I love it so much. Kristen is making kits for this thing, so she's like curating 3 colorways that she's choosing to put into kits to sell to make this. Highly recommend that because her color sense is amazing. She chose these colors for me and I love them. I love this Nouveau base too. Single ply yarn is some of my favorite for shawls. And single ply brioching, it's the best. It's the squishiest. So I am knitting this on a size 6, my Hiya Sharps from my interchangeable set. And I've got it on a 24-inch cable right now. And it's just flying. Seriously, it's round and around and around. So fun. I love it. It's a really great pattern. I highly, highly recommend knitting it when it comes out. I cannot wait. I can't wait for you guys for it to be released. Seriously can't. Seriously. Like, seriously. So that's been my favorite project this week. I've been working a lot on it because I love it. I can't wait that I'm at the second. I'm really excited that I'm at the second lace section. I think that lace section is going to be in Fig Bash, whereas the first lace section was in Prickly Pear. So my last project is an UFO. Now an UFO is an unfinished object. I don't have many UFOs languishing because I generally either finish things or frog them. But I've got this one. This little UFO I picked up yesterday and continued on. I'll show you what it is, tell you a little bit about it, and then I'll kind of tell you the history. So this is a linen tee. Yeah. Ever seen me knit one of those before? Nope, because this is the only one. This is the Nianin tee by Cecily Glowick MacDonald. And this is 100% flax linen yarn by Shibui. It's their Shibui linen. It is fingering weight yarn. And I have, these tags are super weird, so I don't know how much you're going to get out of this, but this is what I've got left. It is a really beautiful linen yarn. And this is the only time I've ever used linen, has been in this top. It's a chain ply. You might be able to see that on screen. But essentially, it is, I don't know how to describe chain ply, but it's not regular plied. It's chain plied. So it's kind of like chain links. And it's really interesting yarn. I love the way it feels. It does hurt my hands a little tiny bit to knit with it. After I get used to it though, it pretty much stops hurting. And I don't really know why that is. But pretty much they say it's the non-elasticity of like linen and cotton yarns that makes your hands sore when you knit with it. And I do experience that a little bit. But I get used to it, I think. So this is my last cake of it. I had 3 skeins total when I started this project a long time ago. This is the current one I'm working on right now. This has all been ripped back. And this is what I've got. It's really beautiful. It's an all-over lace tee. It is sleeveless, and I super was unexcited about it when I stopped working on it a long time ago, and have remained really unexcited about it. I knew that it has been just like sitting there in a bag somewhere, not being worked on, not being finished. And I have never cared. I've always been like, F that project. Don't even care about it. But I took it out yesterday morning and with the intention of ripping it out and doing something else with the yarn. And I kind of fell back in love with it, and I started knitting on it again, and I was having a lot of fun doing the actual knitting. So I'm back. I am back with my linen tee, and I'm really excited about it again, which is super awesome. So what happened was I started this top back in 2015, and I lost steam. I made a mistake. I separated for the sleeves too early because measuring linen lace knitting is really difficult, apparently, because it can be measured differently depending on how you have it laid out. So if you measure it like this, it's going to be different than if you measure it like this. It makes like a huge difference. That seems super obvious, but back in 2015, I measured it the wrong way. I separated for the sleeves too early. I decided to continue knitting it anyway and just try to fudge it by doing some extra seaming up the sides. And then I just, like I said, I just lost steam. I fell out of love with it. I did not want to work on it anymore, so I didn't. I picked it up again yesterday when I got an email from Amarisu, which is a really fantastic knitting magazine that puts out beautiful patterns. Their current issue has a bunch of summer garments in it, and I took a look at it and I was like, hey, I have some linen yarn somewhere. Why don't I dig that out, rip it all out, and make one of these things? So I did. I dug it out and I looked at it and I was like, I'm just going to try knitting on it again to see what happens. And I tried figuring out where I was in the lace because I didn't write it down. And I continued. And I had a really good time. So I was like, okay, good. We're back. We are back. I'm just going to finish this thing. It's almost done anyway. It's going to be awesome. And I knit on like maybe 4 inches of it, which I spent a lot of time like figuring out where I was and re-knitting the rest of it and like getting back into the groove of it. And after I did that, I realized I had picked up knitting in the wrong spot in the lace. Normally I would just let something like that go, but in this pattern it would have happened to have really affected the sleeve things. It's a sleeveless thing, but it's got the edges here. It would have affected that. So I decided to start over. I could have ripped back to that point and just picked up the lace in the correct spot, which I easily could figure out. But I decided that what I would do is rip way back out to my original mistake 2 years ago when I separated for the sleeves too early. So that's what I did. I ripped a lot out. Pretty much, I ripped out this whole ball here. And I've started back up knitting in the round. I am pretty sure I'm back to the spot where I properly should separate for the sleeves, but I'm going to measure again. I'm going to measure again like 5 times before I actually separate. So I separate in the right spot this time. So that's the story of my UFO that is now back in business, and I love it. I think it's really beautiful. It's this really pretty lace pattern, and it's kind of lace on both sides almost. On the right side, it's lace, and on the wrong side, it's just knitting and purling. And I think it's going to be really gorgeous. I tried it on again, and it's going to fit great, I think. It's the smallest size of the pattern. The pattern calls for the Quince & Company fingering weight linen, but I am using the Shibui, and it's working great. And I love this colorway. It's the Fjord colorway. I went through a phase in my knitting where all of my garment yarn that I purchased was this deep teal color. I think it was last episode or possibly the episode before. I wore my Quince & Co. sweater, which was deep teal. I've also got my Myrna cardigan, which is teal. I went through a heavy teal phase. So I am super excited about this. And there are a couple of summer garment knit-alongs that are happening right now that I want to tell you guys about. I don't think my thing qualifies for one or both of them because it's a whip from a long time ago, but I still want to tell you guys about them, and in my head, I'm going to participate with both of them, even though I'm cheating, so whatever. The first one is the Happy Knits knit-along. She's doing a Some Like It Hot Cal, which is awesome. You guys should check out her podcast because it's fantastic. Her son is her co-host, and whenever she does a knit-along, he coordinates an outfit to go along with the knit-along. So every time she talks about the knit-along, he gets his outfit on. And his Some Like It Hot outfit is like so cool. I'm like jealous of how cool this guy is. Anyway, so the Some Like It Hot Cal, it's for summer garments. Check it out. The other one that I know about is the Yarn to Table and Dunkelgrün podcasts joint knit along, which is what's that one? The Summer Garment Cal. That one I definitely don't qualify because it was cast on way before the cast on date, but I'm telling you guys about it anyway in case you want to check it out. I know there are more summer garment knit alongs happening that I can't remember right now. Those are the two that I am pretending to participate in. So check those out. Those are all awesome podcasts. Happy Knits, Yarn to Table, and Dunkelgrün. If you haven't seen them yet, highly recommend all of them. Another thing that I should tell you about that I super like doing is, if you'll notice, I have a bunch of stitch markers on here. And that is because when I knit lace with a certain number of lace repeats throughout the whole round, that doesn't change, I like to use stitch markers for every lace repeat. Now, that might be an amateurish... I've heard people say it's like you shouldn't do that because you should be able to read your knitting. Whatever. I feel like I'm good at reading my knitting, but this helps so much. Because if you get off a stitch in your lace repeat, all you have to do is count the stitches between your stitch markers, and if you're at the right stitch count, you're generally golden. But if you're off, it's really easy to tell where you're off. You know what I mean? It makes it really easy. It's super helpful. I did it with my Oracle shawl too on the lace section. I used a bunch of stitch markers between every lace repeat, and there were a few times where I messed up. I forgot to do a yarn over or whatever, and it makes it super easy to find those mistakes. I highly recommend doing that if you're into lace knitting and you haven't tried it yet. That's what I like to do. You need a ton of stitch markers though, so make sure you have a lot of these little simple stitch markers. And I got super frustrated with this project yesterday because I spent so much time working it back up and then I had to rip it all back out. I put on my little Beehive Yarns Progress Keeper, and it mostly made it all better. So I'm super excited about this. I really enjoy the fact that I'm taking an old project that I never finished and I am finishing it. This yarn was not cheap, and the fact that it was just languishing and being wasted was sad. And I'm super excited that I'm putting it back to use and I'm finishing it. Yes. That is all my knitting. I have a bunch of other stuff though. I have been on a staycation, as I have mentioned like a million times because I'm super excited about it. It's almost over. It's like halfway over. My first full week of being off of work is now officially over because it's officially my normal weekend. So I go back to work next week, but with all of this time off, I have been spinning and sewing and planning, and it has been so much fun. So much fun. So I'm going to tell you about the spinning that I've done. I got back to my spinning wheel, which I was so excited about. But before I did that, I finished my little Rolag drop spindle project. I have been working on a big ol' set of Woolly Witch Rolags that I've had for a while, and I finally finished them. So I spun these. Again, these were Woolly Witch Rolags. She makes really beautiful Rolags. She has an Etsy shop. You should definitely check it out. I spun these on my drop spindle, and this was the last of them. And this is my little skein. I love it so much. Now what I did was I spun up all of these Rolags just one after another on my wooden drop spindle by Wool Tree Mill USA. And I left them as singles, wound them off onto my knitting knotty when I was done, and washed them and let them dry, and that's it. So I'm going to add these to my blanket next. My drop spindle, I've talked about this before. I would like a new drop spindle. I really enjoy drop spindling, but this one I find to be a little bit cumbersome, a little bit big, a little bit heavy. It drops on the floor a lot. If I'm like a little bit out of practice, or if I'm not paying attention or whatever, it'll drop on the floor, and I have consequently broken off this hook that used to be here if I wanted to use it for a bottom whirl. That's gone because I dropped it on the floor so much. And the hook at the top is deeply misshapen now because I've dropped it on the floor so much. I keep having to get pliers and like pop it back into shape. And I'm pretty sure this is eventually going to snap off too. So I'm still debating. I'm such a cheapskate that I don't want to buy a new one. But I really want to keep drop spindling, so we'll see. For now, this one is really, really good. I really enjoy it. It's just a little more cumbersome than I would like. I hear there's drop spindles out there that are like super light and super fast and stuff. But that was super fun. I spent a bunch of time one day walking in circles around my computer, which I had on the floor for some reason, right here in my office. Drop spindling, just walking in circles, like slow circles around my computer, listening to a book on tape that I've been listening to that my computer was playing, and that was super fun. That's how I finished the whole rest of my Lily Witch Rolex. I loved it. I am listening to, by the way, 1Q84, which is a Haruki Murakami novel. It's fantastic. If you remember a long time ago in a previous podcast, I talked about how I was just starting that book. And yes, I am still listening to it because it's long and I'm slow. But I've been listening to it a lot this week. It's amazing. It's super classic and popular. I'm sure many of you have read it. You might want to check it out. It's epic. It's an epically wonderful piece of literature. I love it so far. Anyway, that's what I was doing when I was spinning these. And yeah. That was really fun to finish. My next spinning project is a bigger one. I got back to my Ladybug Wheel, which I love, and I brought out one of my Moon Rover Fiber Club things of fiber. I was a member of her fiber club for 3 months, and so I had 3 braids of fiber. I spun one of them a long time ago. This is my second one, and this is the little tag that it came with. And it's super cute. This is actually an envelope filled with lavender. It is superwash merino and nylon 85 15%. And this is what it looks like. So that's the fiber. I have split it up into 3 of these little balls. And what I'm going to do is spin them all consecutively onto one bobbin and then chain ply it. So essentially I'll be getting a self-striping yarn is kind of my goal. I split it all in half length, or in thirds lengthwise, and they came out pretty even. Not completely even, but this is what I have so far. It's really beautiful. It's really easy and fun to spin. The prep on this fiber was amazing. The colors are amazing. My favorite parts so far are this pale pink, and right here is this like kind of grayish seafoamy color. And I'm not the best chain plier. I'm definitely a traditional ply sort of girl. But I really wanted the colors to stay the same, so I'm doing chain ply. The way this was dyed was just kind of one color after another. So we've got the blue, this gray, turns into this really beautiful chartreuse, orange, pink, blue gray, into what is this? Kind of a grayish blue. More pink, this is my favorite, into this orangey brownish. Ugh, I'm so excited. I love it so much. So that's been really fun. I've been trying to spin it really fine so that I can hopefully get a chain ply, 3-ply fingering weight yarn, because I want to make socks out of this. It's got nylon in it. So I figure hand spun socks. So this has been really fun. This is, like I said, I split it into 3 sections. This is the last of my first section. And I'm having a lot of fun spinning it. I am a little worried about the chain plying. Like I said, I'm not the best at chain plying. I don't think it's the funnest way to ply. I love traditional plying. I think it's actually really super fun. But chain plying, I don't think is that fun. So, we'll see. I will get through it. I will persist. And this is my beautiful wooden shocked bobbin that I really love. I really, really love my Ladybug. If you're interested in wheels, I really love the Shocked company. They make fantastic wheels. Matchlesses are their kind of flagship wheel. They are pricey. Ladybugs are a little more consumer friendly, and they're also very beautiful. So, that's been fun. I have been sewing. Yes. I'm so happy to get back into sewing. I love it so much. I decided, I was inspired by Becky Sorensen of the Stringing It Together podcast when she made the Margot pajama pants from Love at First Stitch, which is the Tilly and the Buttons pattern book, which is this. This is such an awesome book. If you've watched this podcast in the past, you may know that I love Tilly and the Buttons sewing patterns. I love them. I love the styling. I love the way they're written. I love the paper that they come on. I love them. So I've had this book for a long time and I've never made anything out of it. I've only used her like separate patterns. And kind of what I've always wanted to do was sew my way through this whole book, because that's kind of the intention of this book, is to give you pattern by pattern, you learn more and more sewing techniques pretty much. And once you get to the last pattern, you've learned all the techniques. You use all the techniques that you've learned in the previous patterns. So I've kind of always wanted to do that just for the fun of it. So I decided I'm going to do it. So I'm going to sew my way through Love at First Stitch, and I'm really, really excited about it. I sewed my first, I should say, I am skipping the first pattern, which is a scarf. I'm skipping it. I started with the pajama pants, and those are the Margot pajama pants, and I made them this last week. So this is what they look like. I used some really lightweight gray cotton. It is either lawn or voile. I don't know if that's how you say it or not. It's one of the two. I can't remember which. I had it in my stash for a while, and I don't know what it is, but it's gray cotton. It's really lightweight. It's pretty kind of see-through. But this is them, and I am proud of them because I've never sewn pants before. They're not really my style of pajama pants, which is kind of why I've always held off. I really like loose, wide, elastic waist pajama pants. I don't like a drawstring, but I figured, what the heck, I'm going to make it just to make it. So I did the drawstring, and it says that you can use ribbon, so that's what I did, and I have this super dorky farm animal ribbon in my sewing box. It's been in there for like ever, so I used that. I'm really proud of them. I haven't actually worn them as pajamas yet. I tried them on, and they don't fit great, but they fit, like technically they fit and they stay up and stuff. So I'm super happy. I'm probably going to wear them tonight as pajamas just to see how it goes, because now I've shown them to you on the podcast. So I did the full length. They should have been really easy. I'm a dork though, and I'm not that good at reading instructions, and I kind of got confused at a few places. I get confused with fabrics that don't have a really prominent right side and wrong side. So I actually like this here. This is the wrong side, at least the way I cut it. This had all my markings on it. I don't know how I got confused, but I sewed them backwards. It worked though. They still, I don't think it made a difference. It probably did make some kind of difference, but hey, they still fit. And all the markings washed out, so. But yeah, I don't know. They're pajama pants. They're nothing fancy. I did do this super cool thing that I've seen done a lot on my commercial pajama pants, where you kind of tack right there. It's a little tack, and my ribbon is under there. So that way your ribbon doesn't slide out either way. I made that up. No big deal. And they took me longer than they should have, because like I said, I got confused a few times. But they're done. I really like this part here, where it's like the little hole that the ribbon goes in, and it's kind of like reinforced like that. I think that's super cute. And I don't know, there's some more stuff to look at. I, a long time ago, bought some flannel to make these pants out of, but I decided to use this instead this time because it's summer and I had it lying around. I might make these again with the flannel, but I might make different pajama pants with the flannel because, like I said, I don't really like drawstrings. I don't know why. I like elastic better. But I'm super happy that I made these, and I'm on my way to sewing my way through that whole book. I'm so excited. I went through each pattern, and I wrote down everything that I was going to need for each pattern. I went on Mood Fabrics, and I ordered all my fabric. So that's coming in the mail. I'm super excited. I went on a ridiculous quest to find invisible zippers, which are like apparently kind of hard to get. I don't know why. I got confused, and I ended up not buying them on Mood with my fabric because I decided to just go to my local fabric store to buy those zippers. And it turns out they have a really not that great selection of zippers, and so I got a few, but I'm still missing one for one of the patterns because they didn't have the right size, and they're also more expensive. God, they're expensive. But I do already have the fabric for the next pattern in the book that I already had in my stash, and it kind of doesn't call for this type of fabric, but whatever, I don't care. The next pattern in the book is the Delphine skirt, which is the cover skirt. And it calls for like a heavyweight fabric, but I have quilting cotton, and that's what I'm going to use for it. I have it cut out already, so I'm going to show you a little bit. And I'm going to sew this together next. So this is some more Ghastly's fabric. This is the Halloween edition of the Ghastly's fabric. So I'm sewing my Halloween skirt now. Whatever. And I am obsessed with fabric conservation. Partially because I don't like wasting things, and partially because I'm a cheapskate. So I have a tendency, do not copy me because this is bad advice, I have a tendency to buy less fabric than a pattern calls for, and I have always been successful in shimmy-shammying the pattern pieces to make it work. This time, I could not make it work. I already had this fabric in my stash. It was 1 yard, and I can't remember how much the pattern calls for, but I was like, I can make it work. I could not make it work. There was this one spot where the skirts overlapped a little bit, and I could not figure out, there was just no way to do it. If it wasn't a directional print, I could have just flipped one of them upside down and it would have been fine. And I think that's normally how I get away with it. But since this was directional, I could not do that. So I did this thing that I'm super proud of. I totally made it up. I'm so proud of myself. Check it out. See that little patchy part? That was my fix to the problem. The more prominent, important piece I cut out, and then this piece overlapped in the corner, so I just let it have a cut off. And then when I was done cutting out all my pieces, I took some of the fabric left over, which there wasn't much. I used like all of it. I took a couple scraps and I sewed it onto the piece that was missing a corner. And then I just put it back down, put the pattern piece on top, and recut it. I'm so proud of myself. I think I'm so smart. So now I've got a full pattern piece. The corner's got a little patch, but I totally don't care. It's got one on each side of the back piece. I think I was super clever. So I'm super excited about sewing this together. I can't wait to have a Halloween skirt. I think it's going to be super cute. And that's what I've done. I'm super happy with my sewing this week, and I'm super excited about this project. I have fabric for every single pattern in this book. I have got materials for everything except for one zipper I'm missing, but I'll acquire that at some point. And I'm stoked. I'm stoked. If anybody's interested in doing it along with me, let me know. I may open up a thread in the Ravelry group for sewing or for sewing through this book or something. I don't know. If you're interested in this idea, let me know, because I think it's a pretty good idea. Yes, sewing. Next up is my favorites. I did something super cool. Since I had so much time this past week, I finally got to fixing something that I told you about a long time ago. I had knit the Girl from the Grocery Store shawl, which is a beautiful shawl pattern designed by Joji Locatelli. I had knit it with my hand-spun loop bat that I had left as a single ply. Here it is. It's beautiful. I love it. It's one of my favorite shawls that I've ever knit, and I love the yarn. The yarn was, like I said, a loop bump that I left as a single ply yarn. It's gorgeous. I love that technique, but it is a little fragile, and the edge of this does not stretch that much. So I had a little boo-boo, like my third time wearing it. I snapped the yarn, and I told you about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna mend it at some point. It sat on top of my couch right over there ever since then, until like 3 days ago. And I was like, okay, I'm finally gonna fix it. So I did. And I used leftover yarn from the shawl. And pretty much all I did is I took the yarn that I had left. All I had was the hot pink color. And I put it on a darning needle. And I just sewed the crap out of it. I did not use any technique. I went in, I tried to find the ends that had snapped, but I kind of couldn't. They were kind of lost in the ravels, and it hadn't unraveled that much. So I just kind of went in and like hacksawed it with the thread and the needle and just kind of like bound it all up into this little mass. And I don't think it's going anywhere. I think as long as I don't tug on this too hard from now on, it's going to be fine. And I don't think this is going anywhere. And I'm super happy with my patchwork. I love it. And now I can finally wear this shawl again. And I have been. I've been finally wearing it again. And I'm stoked. So that was awesome. I'm really, really happy I got to do that. See, this is where it's dangerous. Because if I wear it like this, I end up like going like this to like, you know, adjust it. And this is the part that doesn't stretch. So I can snap it super easy. So I just have to be really, really careful. She's a delicate flower, and I need to treat her like one. So that was awesome. I'm super happy I got to do that. I did some other UFO diving, and I found another project that I showed you guys a long time ago that I started and never finished. It was a shawl. I don't remember what shawl it was, but this is it. Remember this? Maybe not. It was a stole, a rectangular stole that I had started out of this really beautiful Madeline Tosh BFL light, I think it is. Yeah, BFL light yarn. And the reason why I could not work on it is because this yarn is really sheddy. And if you know me, you know I'm a super wimp when it comes to sheddy yarn. I can't handle it. So I stopped working on it because I couldn't handle it. Just because it sheds, there's too many flyaways. They get in my eyes, my nose, my mouth, and I get all, and I can't do it. So I stopped working on it. I stole the needles out of it, and I'm done. I've officially decided that I am done, and it's really, really sad because this is the yarn that I was using. It's Madeline Tosh BFL Light. And it's gorgeous. Like I said, it's a single ply BFL yarn. I think it's 100% BFL. Yeah. And I love BFL. It's British too. And I love it, but I just can't work with it. I can't, unfortunately. It's super sad. And then the other yarn that I was going to use was this Hedgehog Fibers sock yarn, which I'm totally fine working with this. I just hadn't gotten to it yet. So this is going back in my stash for something else. This yarn, though, I need to get rid of it. I'm super sad because it's really beautiful. And I really, really want somebody to work with it because it's gorgeous and not everybody is as big a wimp as I am. So what I'm going to do is I am going to give this to one of you guys because I just really want this to get used. I really want it to go to somebody who's going to love it because it is really, really beautiful. So this is the Solo Speckles teal colorway, and this is the Peppermint Patty colorway, this one here. So what I'm going to do is, if you want this is 2 full cakes of this yarn. Leave a comment in the Ravelry thread for this episode telling me you want it. And I will PM you, get your mailing address, and I will mail it to you. For free. I'm not going to charge you anything. Just tell me you want it and I will mail it to you. If there's more than one person that wants it, I'm going to send it to the first person that leaves a message in the thread. So the first person that says that they want it, they're going to get it. I'm going to mail it to you. And I hope that you make something beautiful with it because it's really beautiful yarn. I just can't handle it. And unless you happen to want me to leave this like this, what I'm going to do is just unravel it and wrap it around this. I'm not going to reskein it or anything because, as you know, I'm lazy. And so I'm just going to send it to you in cake form. If that's okay with you, cool. Let me know. Who wants this? Who wants this beautiful yarn? I hope there's somebody that wants it and that will love it as much as I want to love it. So that's another UFO that I am hopefully getting cleared out. And I've never used Hedgehog Fibers before. This is the only skein that I've ever owned. It's the Exploding Peacock colorway. And it's really awesome. And I can't wait to use it. So hopefully this will go into something super awesome too. Okay. I am going to leave it at that. So thank you for watching this week. I have had a great time. I hope you have too. Thank you so much for being here and subscribing. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to check out that 1,000 subscriber giveaway, check out the Ravelry group and join the knit along. It's so much fun. I think you should join it. I hope you're having a really great summer so far. I hope you're getting out and walking and hiking or staying indoors and knitting. I hope you're doing whatever you think is the funnest thing to do all summer long. Thank you again for being here. Have fun. Stay awesome. Bye, guys. Squirrel. What the heck? What the heck? What are you gonna do? Come here. Squirrel, stop it. Good Lord. Stop. Oh, you're box obsessed. Come here. Little terrorizer. Be cool, huh? Squirrel is not being cool. Take 2. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions, my podcast. Squirrel, stop. Squirrel, this isn't a bathhouse. Stop it. Go away. Shoo. Go play with the chickens.